Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm having CricCrazyNIKS with me today to review the India versus South Africa ODI series. Nikhil thinks cricket 24/7 and he's a champion in fantasy cricket. He can write, he can speak. One of the most popular accounts on cricket Twitter. Sir, welcome to the show.
Very, very kind words. Thank you so much for having me. Pleasure being here.
And I'm privileged to have you on my show.
Nothing such. We're all just great fans of the game.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So now let's just talk about India's opening pair in the ODI series. They played with KL Rahul and Shikhar Dhawan in all the three ODIs. I feel Ruturaj Gaikwad should have got a chance in the three ODIs. Especially he was in a red hot form in the Vijay Hazare Trophy. He smashed some 400s in 5 matches at an average of 130. So I feel he should have got a chance. What do you think, sir?
Yeah, I agree. I think one of the problems with Indian cricket in general is that we pick players on their form in the past. So there was a lot of time where you could not pick a lot of players. So now we are saying, let's pick them now because you could not give them chances then. And one of the reasons why you don't see the likes of Ruturaj getting a chance when in form is, okay, but if Rohit is not there, you want somebody senior. There is no such thing as wanting a senior to bat at top. What did Rahul do batting at top? Is he a backup opener? No, he's going to bat at 5. If he is the backup opener, then yes, okay, understood why you wanted him to move to open. But if you're also saying that you want to manage workload and all of that, why would you not play youngsters there in a series which was not even the part of the Super League? This was your best to try out youngsters and see what they can offer. And if Ruturaj in the form that he is, if you don't use him now, you will use him when he's not in form, and then you will tell that now he's not scoring. So he's not about not going to score runs when he's not in form. So I think that management has to be done better. I agree that they did not want to drop a year or somebody else at 5-6, but again, you just want to be ready for the next step. Now, if Rahul is opening next game, next series, if Rohit comes back, Rahul goes back to 5. Now, what did Shreyas Iyer or Surya Kumar Yadav achieve by playing just 1 or 2 games? So it's just a weird. I think the formation of the side was, I think, always imbalanced.
And one thing I feel is we can give a chance to Mayank Agarwal in the ODI series, which we tried in Australia tour in 2020. He made opening in one of the ODIs in the 3 ODIs. Do you think it's right time to give Mayank chance in ODIs too?
I think that this is probably the right time to firstly decide on a pool. I think it is something that I've said in a lot of calls or chats that I've had with people across the nation, that it's time to have a separate format pool where these are my 2 test openers and these are the backup. These are my ODI openers and these are the backup. These are my T20 openers and these are the backup. Once you have that exact system in place, then it is easier to rotate between them so that they also get a break and the guy who's going to come in knows his exact role in the side. That, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. Because now if you see, there are a lot of options for top order in India. But you don't want them to mix formats. If Mayank is a better test opener, for whatever that logic may be, keep him to test side. There is no such dearth of talent in India that you are saying that you want one guy playing in all 3 formats. We need to reduce that overlap as much as possible, because you can see what a jaded Jasprit Bumrah or a jaded Virat Kohli feels. They are also humans. You cannot just keep expecting them to go from bubble to bubble to bubble to bubble and then keep performing at their best. They are going to have their phases. So I think it's important to have that pool. And once you have that pool, you have a priority. Okay, Rohit is my first choice opener. Second choice is Shikhar Dhawan. Third choice is Ruturaj Gaikwad. Fourth choice is Mayank Agarwal. Have that order, have this order in place. Let this be known to everyone, not us, the players, so that they can also plan their lives in cricket better and they don't have to worry about the Indian selection and they can just be free.
And if Rohit comes, obviously KL Rahul will move to number 5 once Shikhar Dhawan comes. That will be the only opening pair for the T20 for the ODI World Cup next year, considering their experience and Shikhar Dhawan's now form.
Yeah, I do feel the top 3 will remain same. The ODIs, that is. I feel it will definitely be Rohit, Dhawan, and Virat at 3. I will pitch Sky at 4. Or Pant, if he's going to bat at all the games at 4, then definitely yes, Pant at 4. You have Sky at 5. But then that puts Rahul very low down at 6. So it is a call of using Rahul and Sky as floaters, depending on the situation. And then you obviously have Ravindra Jadeja, who is a vital cog now, because he's going to give you that balance both with bat and ball.
And in the press conference before the ODI series, KL Rahul said that Shreyas Iyer will bat at number 4. But in all the 3 ODI games, Rishabh Pant batted at number 4 and Shreyas Iyer didn't bat at number 4. What was the reason behind this? In the second ODI, yes, sir.
My internet connection is not stable. Just give me a second.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can go ahead now. Sorry.
In the ODIs, in the second ODI, Rishabh Pant played a counter-attacking innings, 85 of 65 deliveries something. Was this the reason behind Rishabh Pant batting at number 4 ahead of Shreyas Iyer?
Yes, definitely. I feel so. I think we all know that now the India's brand of cricket in both limited overs formats is a bit outdated in terms of trying to lay a platform with top 3 and then try and accelerate only towards them. What this does is it gives the opposition a very clear idea that these guys are not going to take risk in the first 10. So you can probably get out with a few overs. And Aiden Markram bowling 4 to 5 overs to the top order, it is unpardonable. I don't care what kind of pitches they are. Aiden Markram is not the guy that you want to be playing out safely. It's okay if you get out trying to hit him first ball. I think you have to have that much confidence in your game that you can put the pressure on the opposition. I think right from the start of the last year, I think 2020, India hasn't been able to put pressure on the opposition enough. In the England series, it was a different game because they were all batting pitches, and somehow India found a way to keep the scores in line. But apart from that, in Australia, in New Zealand, India didn't have that luxury or that phases where they could put the pressure back on the opposition for a longer period of time. So I think that is a key area that you need to make them change the game, not wait for them to make mistakes and then you make score of it. That is, I don't think that is the way that ODI cricket works, because you get the top 3 out early, there is nothing left.
Yes, sir.
And you cannot be saying that after 4 to 5 years of the same problem. You knew this problem in 2017 and you have still done nothing about it.
Yes,
in terms of the rotation of the players, you're still dependent on top 3. Your usage of resources is not well. You're unable to take wickets in the middle overs, which is why you actually got back Kuldeep. You got Kuldeep and Chahal. And then when they did not work out, you threw them under the bus that, okay, now they're not playing. Let's get back Jadeja and Ashwin. But no, it doesn't seem like there is a constant communication going on that what is to be done to change this. How do we get bowlers, who could be used as breakthrough bowlers? And then you play Jasprit Bumrah in the third ODI with literally nothing at stake.
Yes,
why?
Sir.
Why not?
At that time, you could have given chance to some other bowler. When you lost the series, you could have given chance to some other bowler who can perform really well, or you can just try for the 2023 World Cup too.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's not that you don't have the talent. You have enough people. You've taken, and then you play Jayant Yadav.
Yes.
Are you telling me Jayant Yadav is in the scheme of your things? Or was he there just because he was there before? Then that is poor planning. So a lot of things need to be, taken into consideration. Yes, I agree. There were a couple of injuries. Sundar is not available. So then is So should you then, we all of us imagine that, okay, Jayant Yadav is the third off spinner in the ranks. So then there is a problem. If you're going to give him one game in 4 or 5 years, how is he going to be ready for a bigger challenge if at all he has to play at home?
Yes, sir. And now let's just talk about India's bowling, fast bowling, especially Bhuvneshwar Kumar. He was famous for getting wickets in the power play. And in the last 1 year or something, he's not getting that wickets and he's so expensive nowadays. It's high time that we should move on with some senior players, or we should give chance. I agree that Bhuvi performed really well in the early years, but now he's not performing well after many injuries. His pace reduced. Why don't we give chance to some other pace bowlers like Prasidh Krishna or some other?
Yeah, I think that will definitely come into picture now, especially after this loss, which is why I was happy that India lost this, because when you keep winning, a lot of your flaws are hidden. So both the losses in Test series and the ODI series exposed the already existing and already talked about flaws in the setup, which nobody was talking about, that why have these not been addressed. India's new ball average in the last 2 years is over 100. That is horrible. I mean, to have a nation where you say you have the best league in the world, you have so many power play specialists. So if you're not able to find somebody to take wickets with a new ball, then there is something that is definitely going on, and you need to try out more combinations or more players. And I feel it's okay to lose as long as you are learning something. As of now, I feel India are not learning anything and they're still losing. So it makes no sense that, okay, you're not trying things out and you're still losing. So you might as well try things out and lose. At least you will know something else. Now, what did you learn by getting KL to open? Nothing. What did you learn by saying Shreyas Iyer slow down and watching him get out 2 short pitch deliveries again? You learned nothing. You knew this already. So that is what I think is lacking. But again, it's a new coach. It's a new start. I'm sure once Rohit also is back in the scheme of things, we will probably have a more streamlined process in terms of both picking the players and then backing particular ones.
And is KL Rahul being thrust into the captaincy without him being really earning it? It seems like they want to mold KL as leader like Dhoni did to Kohli. Dhoni just gave captaincy to Virat and he led the team superbly. Who do you have picked for your team as a captain?
I think for now it is just too early to look beyond the next World Cup. I think for now, Rohit Sharma does seem like the ideal choice to have somebody who has enough experience of leading. Because after that, if you go into the IPL setup, we have to realize that
we get a lot of youngsters.
Yeah, but again, it is important to know where the youngsters are doing and what role they are doing. So this year, you will again have KL Rahul as a captain in one franchise. We have seen enough of him to not make a call in terms of his looks. He's okay. I mean, there is nothing that makes you stand out and say that he cannot be a captain or he's a very good captain. So Hardik Pandya is already in that room. Rishabh Pant, we don't know how much of captaincy is him versus Ricky Ponting's plans when he captains the Delhi side, because the one time he gave Tom Curran the over Rabada, Ricky Ponting was like, I don't know why the captain did that. So that those kind of instances tell you that maybe everything is not in one place. So, and again, now you will have Hardik Pandya at Ahmedabad as a captain. So there will be a lot of options which will come through the IPL. So I think IPL will again be one spot where a lot of things will be observed in terms of how these younger players are leading sides and how they are able to gel as a unit and grow as a leader, because India has been used to having a captain-dominated team. Now, Saurav normally had a captain-dominated team. Then Rahul Dravid came, and then you had a coach and a captain-dominated team. We are not sure of the exact distribution there, but then Dhoni came on. He was a captain-dominated team, and then Virat Kohli came on, and he was a captain-dominated team. So that is where you have to realize what is the next step. If Rahul Dravid is the coach, who is he looking as as a partner for him, like he did with Craig Chappell a decade
sir.
back. So his inputs, I think, are going to be very crucial, and which is why you want to be positive about the future. That hopefully these all problems that are there, because all these are controllables. These are not uncontrollable. You cannot control injuries, but you can control who is playing where and when.
Yes, sir.
Of course, to the extent of them not being injured and them being available. So I think the next slot will purely be coming from Rahul Dravid's suggestions. Again, it depends on how India does in the World Cup, both this year and the next year. And because there are options, you'll have Iyer, you'll have Pant, you'll have Rahul, you have Hardik also. But then is Hardik bowling? Is Hardik only batting? And how is he leading the side? All of that becomes very important.
And even in the IPL, we saw one pacer like Umran Malik, who is consistently bowling 150 kilometers. We can try him in the 2023 World Cup. There are a lot of time before 2023 World Cup, and this IPL too he will be playing, and we can try him. What's your say on him?
See, I'm always very skeptical of going after players after one very good season. It doesn't mean that they are good, very good, or very bad. But say this season will probably be a bigger test for three guys: Ruturaj Gaikwad, Venkatesh Iyer, and Umran Malik,
Yes.
and even Shubman Gill. Because now you can have a great season, and then what is important is, are we able to cope up with your own expectations that you have set in the previous one? If Ruturaj can do that, great signs for India. If Umran Malik can keep clocking 150 without getting injured, bowling 4 overs regularly, doing that role of an enforcer that he did for SRH, great stuff. Abdul Samad, can he bat up the order, take responsibility, do the finishing role, which say somebody like a Shah Rukh Khan. So for the youngsters, I feel this IPL will be very critical because here now you're looking for role specific players, people who can do a specific role for the side. You're mainly looking at now you're looking at new ball wickets, somebody to hit pace at the death,
Yes,
and you're
sir.
also looking at a spinner to take wickets, which I think is a very bad place to be. That if only the openers is the only spot that you have fixed, that okay, my two openers and Bumrah and Pant are probably now only fixed, settled players into the 11. Because even somebody like a Deepak Chahar or a Shardul Thakur, they give you enough with the bat, enough depth with the bat. But how much does Deepak Chahar contribute at the depth with the ball? Can you rely on Shardul at the depth with the ball? So, and again, where the IPL is, that is also important, because in Australia, conditions are going to be different. Different types of bowlers are going to take 2 wickets. So all of that matters when you plan and sit down that, okay, these are the kind of people we'll need in Australia to come good.
Yes, sir. And do you think appointing of Jasprit Bumrah as a vice captain is a good decision? Because Pat Cummins was named as captain in the Ashes, and he performed really well as a captain too, and he won the Ashes too. Is this a good decision?
Again, as I said, there are a lot of factors that go into captaincy, and how things work out in India are different to how things work out in Australia. The selection panel is different. The processes are different. I do see Jasprit Bumrah as a potential future captain, but it depends massively on how they want to use it. I would rather want Bumrah the player, the bowler, far more than Bumrah the captain, to be very, very honest in that terms. That I cannot afford losing Jasprit Bumrah the bowler to just Bumrah the captain because of the workload that he may have to handle. So it depends on how Bumrah takes care of his body, and how
And
Indian
Bumrah is
cricket takes care
also
of his.
playing 3 formats consistently.
Yeah, exactly. And so, which is why you need that support for him. That okay, if you don't have Bumrah, do you have the replacement in that format for him? Now you are not going to always get like for like, but if you can get somebody who can do half of his job, you can get 2 such guys there, you're still fine. So a lot of things need to come up how they are actually, because even for Australia, Pat Cummins is only the test captain. So he's not the one-day captain. Things are very different there. He's not the T20 captain. Things are very different there. So that workload management is very key if you are going to put up your premier bowler as your captain.
And what are the major errors did by Team India and KL Rahul in the ODI series, do you think? In the Test series, one thing, one big mistake is we saw that batting collapses happening every time, everywhere we go. Even it happened in England too. We got all out for 191 in England this year. It's happening very often. What was the major mistake in this ODI series done by India?
I think to be blunt, I felt there were two things that were definitely wrong. One was people getting starts did not convert, and by that I mean when you have said now the pitches were not such where the new guys would find it easier to come in and score. You didn't see any such knock where people came in and just blasted a 20 out of a 50 out of 20 balls. Sorry, they all took time to get in and to get going. So when you get a start on such kind of decks, you want to be ruthless and have that set guy batting deep into the a chase, which we saw with South Africa when Quinton did that, or when Yanimal Malan did that, or when Babuma did it, or when RVD did it. So you need set batters to score centuries. That's when you win
Yes,
games.
they were converting their good starts into big scores.
Exactly. And if you're not converting good starts, it is important to then stitch a smaller partnerships. I think India fault out in both cases with batting. They did not get, if you got a start, you did not make the most of it. Or if you did not get a start, there weren't enough substantial partnerships in the middle that, okay, somebody else got settled and then this guy got out, or somebody else got settled and then this guy got out. You were in all three ODIs, you have a 1 wicket fell, 2-3 fell, 1 wicket fell, 2-3 fell. That is not how you're going to win, control the flow of the game. So that was the one area. And of course, the other was wickets in the middle overs. I don't think India looked threatening at all with the ball, to be very, very honest, in the middle overs. Apart from few phases, it didn't seem like, India could trouble them. And that is sad state of affairs that if somebody like a Makram and Maharaj are out bowling Chahal and Ashwin,
yes, sir.
I think there is a lot to worry.
And talk about South Africa's performance in the ODI series. One thing is that we had a very strong team with Virat Kohli, Jasprit Bumrah, all the quality players we had. If you see the South Africa side, they miss a lot of players like Faf du Plessis, Kagiso Rabada was rested, Hendrik Nokia, they're very important bowler in all the three formats. Both were missed, but how did they defeat this strong Indian team? Like they had some 5 to 6 debutants in the squad, and how did they defeat this team? What was the intent by them?
I think the best way to describe that is India had key players, but India didn't have the balance in the side. South Africa had the balance in the side, and they had players who were ready to replicate the role that the players who were absent were going to do.
Yes.
So there was Quinton de Kock who was leading as a senior, and then you had guys like RVD, you had Babuma, you had Yanimal Malan. These guys were stepping up and they were ensuring that if they missed Faf, Rasi did the job of Faf. If they missed somebody else was stepping up for somebody else. India didn't have an all-rounder taking wickets. India played the 6 bowler but did not bowl him at all, despite having phases where no other bowler was working. But they had Andile Fellow who was coming in, rolling his arm over, getting wickets. Aiden Makram was opening the bowling and getting wickets for them. So it's where I said India did not test South Africa enough for them to make a mistake. India kept making enough mistakes that South Africa never felt that they had to do something else to put India under pressure. And when they had to do, it was too late. And Deepak Chahar still got out to Lungi Nagiri, and you lost the last ODI. So when you put pressure on them, they showed that they had those chains that you could expose. But again, India never had enough good times for a longer duration of play to put them under pressure. And it is credit to South Africa that they see this is their home. They know how the conditions, they know how to bowl. So it was not going to be a challenge for them. But if your bowlers who have over 50, 60 ODIs and 100 ODIs and so many wickets, and if they are not able to adapt to surfaces, then you are not, then you don't even deserve to win because you're not doing the basics right.
Yes, sir. Would this series expect rise in young South Africa squad before World Cup 2023?
Sorry, I didn't get the last bit.
Would the series have raised expectations for young South Africa team for the 2023 ODI World Cup?
Oh, definitely, for sure. I think the success that the test side had will probably have a larger impact because nobody gave South Africa a chance. I don't know why, but nobody gave South Africa a chance that okay, they can beat this Indian team. And again, this is just a narrative. I don't think India were this strong at any point in time, even when they won in Australia and when they won in England. It was the youngsters who were doing the hero role, and the seniors were playing the second fiddle, which is good for a storyline, which is good for an underdog story to come out, but it is not sustainable. You need to have regular guys come in, perform consistently for you to not make those same mistakes again and again, because the collapses, as you rightly said, they've been happening for too long. So
Yes,
there was nothing done to address those. You still back the same players and then you have the same results. South Africa, on the other hand, they tried youngsters. Again, South Africa picked people on form. India picked people on reputation. So you pick names and you pick performances. Performances will always come up and do good. This series is great example of backing the future, taking that bold call that okay, I believe in this guy, he will do well. So Yanimal Malan did that. Yanimal Malan has been in tremendous form in the recent past, and he showed that. And he showed that as well. He played well. He was confident. They did not look trouble. Rassi and Tema Bavuma played like seniors who knew what their role was. They executed their plans to perfection. And they always got wickets from whoever they went to, be it Lungi Nagidi, be it Andile Failukwayo. So when you have enough answers, you at times don't have enough questions for them. And India actually don't have answers, so they have a lot of questions for them.
And how do you see Temba Bauma's captaincy? Like KL Rahul did some bowling changes errors in the test series. How do you see Temba Bauma? His captaincy?
I think Temba is a far more experienced guy with that role as compared to KL. Again, after having seen the few series that we have on Netflix and Amazon, it is very difficult to gauge what exactly is the call that Rahul or Babuma is taking and what is already pre-decided in the camp. Say somebody like a Morgan is using numbers from the dressing room to execute different things on the field. So you don't know who is actually making those plans. So based on that, it's harder to judge that whether Temba did better or KL Rahul did better. It just seemed that South Africa had more answers to different situations. India were just hoping that whatever they do, whatever they're doing will be enough. And I think I would probably say that India erred on the side of caution. South Africa were not that afraid. And I think that was probably the difference. And I think you can see that with the way how KL batted as well. Right through the ODI series, it never looked like he is KL Rahul. I mean, somebody else also could have done the role that could have played the way KL Rahul did eventually. But that is in hindsight. But had KL Rahul played his shots, got India off to a flyer, then you have somebody like a Dhawan or a Kohli coming in with a platform set. It's a different ball game altogether.
Yes,
so Dhawan, I think, was one of the positives for India. That I don't know why people keep questioning his ODI plays, but he showed again that he's still having enough in him. But again, he will also be disappointed that when he got starts, he did not convert, and that is what you want, especially when you have a middle order that is untested. When you're giving new games, newer roles to players in the middle order, you need that one senior guy to be that glue around which the rest can bat.
And I'm quite surprised that KL Rahul scored 290 runs in the test series. And this time, this was a really disappointing series for KL Rahul. Why he couldn't score the runs he scored in the test series? This was a very bad ODI series for him with the bat.
Again, now interesting that you say that. I'm just wanting to check how many of those 290 runs did he score in the first test. Majority, I think 50% of those runs came in the first test. I mean, 100 definitely did came in the first test. So maybe it is a pattern with him that when things get towards the end of a tour, sometimes his average. I think I did read a tweet there somewhere where his averages kept dropping by 5 to 10 right through the different matches of a series. So, which is not a good sign if it is getting established as a pattern. So, I think that is where I'm sure Rahul Dravid and the others will want to go up to him and just want him to play freely. I mean, it is now you don't expect things if you don't see them.
Yes,
Now
sir.
we've seen KL Rahul play freely, so you expect him to play freely and score a lot of runs. But if he's not doing that, then it is very visible on the eye that okay, there is something wrong. Maybe he's playing to a specific plan or a specific role. But then if you want to change somebody's best game, then there is some problem. Maybe you could get somebody else then to do that role for the side.
And KL Rahul is best at number 5. He's averaging literally 55 in number 5 position. Promoting him to a opener in the ODI series, he did himself, and it will be tough for him to change his mental state that he is opening for the team now. What do you think on this?
I think he played as if he was playing in the middle order only. Did not take much risk. Neither did he use the field restrictions enough. So, I mean, if India thought that they could get away with that, they definitely did not get away with it. But I feel KL Rahul is far more talented and skilled to adapt to any role that we can speak of him as a good number 5 is a testament to his talent that he can adapt to a very demanding role, because you see right around the globe there aren't enough very good 4-5s. You can only count them on your fingers that okay, probably a Josh Butler is one, probably a Ben Stokes is one. So when you can count those on your fingers, you realize that okay, it's not an easy role. And if you have somebody who's so good at it, why would you want him to open? You just open with Ruturas Gaikwad, tell him that you are our backup opener number 3. Please go out there and enjoy.
Yes, sir.
What that does is it gives Ruturas the confidence that yes, I am the backup opener. He gets runs. Even if he doesn't get runs, he has lessons to work on. Now, when KL Rahul doesn't work as an opener, there is nothing for him to learn because he knows he's not going to open the next time. He's going to bat at 5. So again, I'm sure there will be more experiments in the future. But as long as players' main roles are not getting disturbed, I'm fine with those experiments.
Were the off-field drama kind of taking it away from the great action out in the middle?
I have always said that with BCCI you hardly get transparency. Hopefully this is one such episode where the people involved are such that transparency would have solved a lot of problems. Hopefully this is a right lesson for them that in the future maybe you can be a bit more transparent and open about your communication so that people don't benefit from gossips and speculations. If you don't tell things openly, people are going to assume things that they are going to make stories, and that is what sells. So if you want to be part of that business, definitely you are going to continue that route. But if you don't want that to happen, if you actually care, you'll probably have a press conference, you'll probably have a stage where the former captain or the current captain or the coach will come on board and then explain things to the people. I feel in India, the fans are the least worried about by the organizations, and some days it will come back and haunt them. But again, we love the game so much that we are not going to think on that line as of now.
And it's a special occasion today that it is Chadeshwar Pujara's birthday. What's your favorite memory of him, and what's your favorite knock of him?
I think there are a lot of favorite Chadeshwar Pujara knocks. To me, my personal favorite will always be him carrying his bat in Colombo. Because I was there at the venue, I saw that entire game, entire test. He opened the batting. I think it was a great knock, set up a very special series win for India. India's first, I think, in Sri Lanka. So to me, that was my personal favorite knock of his. I think in the recent past, he's been unsure of what kind of game he wants to play. Sometimes you see him start very positively. Sometimes he's not getting off the blocks at all. But I think he knows that more than all of us anyways. So hopefully we will see the happier, the free stroking Pujara as well, because to me, my first and the best memory apart from the personal one is of Pujara making his debut and scoring 70 odd in Bangalore in a chase against Australia,
Yes, sir.
because that's where you saw a guy coming in and driving nicely and clipping off his pads straight. So I think that is what the Pujara that I've always enjoyed watching. That if you get a bad ball, you have to punish it, and people need to be fearful of your defense, but they
Yes,
need
sir.
to also be aware that if you make a mistake, he's not going to let you go. So I think that is the one area where Pujara may have found it. Again, batting has been harder any which ways in the last few years.
Yes, sir.
So hopefully we will have a few more uppercuts coming from Pujara in the near future.
And in the Australia series in 2018, that 193 of 370 deliveries, that was my favorite knock of him. So, guys, thanks
Okay.
a lot for joining. And, sir, what are your final words for tonight? And we'll just wrap up the show.
No, I think it's a great that we have all these forums to discuss the game. I will only say, let's enjoy the game without comparing eras and players.
Yes, sir.
More so now, we don't know who will retire when and at what speed and at what situation in life. So let's just enjoy the game, cherish the people we love, and yes, respect people's privacy as well.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining.
Thank you so much for having me. Bye bye.